Two. Oh, are we recording? Top
We're
three
recording.
top three WR fades in 2024. EP 24 intro bigz. Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and Biggs. Checks notes. I am Biggs. He is Grindberg.
Hi.
Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast. We are your hosts. Show 24 topic intro. Grindberg, go.
Hello. What?
Show 24 topic intro. Grindberg. Biggs. Show number 24. Number 3. Oh, hey there. Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and Biggs. I got my merch. It says Fantasy Forecast Grindberg with Grindberg and Biggs on the hat. Came in the mail in the post today. We are talking about wide receiver fades in your redraft leagues. That's what we're doing today. We just did quarterbacks the last episode. Next episode, we're going to be doing running backs. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, and you will be informed via notification when that episode drops. But thank you for coming in and watching, and we love to have you. Let's get into it. I got a couple of wide receiver fades. My first one, my number. I don't know why we have these numbers. My first one is Quentin Johnston of the Los Angeles Chargers of Inglewood of San Diego. Why is Quentin Johnston a fade? He just got rid of Mike Williams. He just got rid of Keenan Allen. And those were the two guys who last year everybody said, once those guys go down, QJ is going to go off. Well, now they've left the building. I'll tell you two reasons. Number one, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is not going to be throwing the ball very much in the Chargers. Hey, if you happen to watch our other episode, that was Grindberg's number one quarterback fade was Justin Herbert. Same reason, Harbaugh. Second reason, Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is going to be the guy that Justin Herbert relies on to catch the ball. Quentin Johnston's going to be more of a like he was last year. We'll find you when we can. My number two is DJ Moore. What? DJ Moore is so good. Why are you fading him? Well, I'm fading him because he's got a rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams, and they brought in Keenan Allen, and they drafted Rome Odunze. Now, that's just going to split the targets up. DJ Moore Justin Fields relied upon him a lot. Caleb Williams isn't going to need to. It's going to make DJ Moore a little bit more pedestrian than he has been in the past. He's still the wide receiver one. He's still the guy, and he's still draftable. Just maybe not in the top 12, maybe in the top 24. That's all.
Yeah.
I'll be back with my number one after Grindberg.
He'll be back with his
messages.
With his number. After these messages.
We'll be right back.
All right, man. So, for me, and I agree with your fades. I think they're well thought out. I like DJ Moore, but I think there's going to be a lot of mouths to feed there. So it's going to be tough for him to repeat what he did last year. And even with better quarterback play, I think there's just going to be there's too many mouths to feed. And for me, my number 3 fade, I guess if you will, is a guy that is used to finishing as a top 10 wide receiver, and he was actually a top 10 wide receiver last year. He went from wide receiver 1 in 2020 to wide receiver 2 in 2021 to wide receiver 3 in 2022 to wide receiver 10 in 2023. So we see a downslide here, and the guy I'm talking about is none other than Raiders faithful Devonte Adams, and I still think he is going to be the number one target in Las Vegas. I just think that his efficiency is going to go down a little bit, and I think his target is going to go down a little bit with a more run-heavy offense. They're going to have uncertainty at the quarterback position. They still haven't named their starter yet, and I'm worried about his efficiency if Gardner Minshew is going to be their quarterback. I'm more inclined to like a Devonte Adams if Aiden O'Connell is there, but I'm more on the decline of Devonte Adams if Gardner Minshew. And I'm hearing he's probably got the edge right now for that starting position. But you might be able to weigh more into that after I finish talking here, Biggs. But Devonte Adams has seen north of 170 targets in both of his seasons with the Raiders. So I just think that's going to come down. And I think with the addition of Brock Bowers, it's going to add some target competition. So I still think Adams will finish as a top 24 wide receiver. Probably a top 15, but for him to be in the top 10, I think is going to be a tough challenge for him.
Yeah, and I tend to. Oh, that's not your spotlight. That was just your number 3. I tend to agree with you. I feel like he's going to stay in the top 12. But go ahead and watch the Raiders Uncovered on the Undroppables Network on Tuesdays, because I addressed the quarterback situation. We're not going to call it a competition. It's not a competition. Yeah. Antonio Pierce has come out and said Aiden O'Connell earned the right to take the first snaps. Without saying that's the QB1, he's saying that's the QB1. It's Aiden O'Connell's job to lose. Does that mean Aiden O'Connell is going to keep it through camp and be the QB1 when the 53-man rosters are announced and they start game 1, week 1? It means it's more likely than not. Gardner Minshew is a career backup quarterback. He's a fantastic number 2 to have just in case. But Aiden O'Connell is going to be on the rise. Not necessarily in fantasy, but in real life, he's going to be enough for the Raiders to win, especially with that defense. Good Lord. So it's Aiden O'Connell's job. He's going to be throwing the ball better. He's more efficient than Gardner Minshew. He doesn't run as much, so he's going to need that pocket protection, but that's going to increase the number of pass attempts. Devonte Adams is going to be fine. He's no longer wide receiver 1. He's no longer top 5 guy. He fades. But we have spent way too many minutes talking about your number 3 guy.
All right, we'll talk about my number 2 guy, and that's Stefon Diggs. He had a challenging 2023. There must have been some sort of falling out, and we all know it's well documented that Stefon Diggs has been not so great in the dressing rooms. He was forced out of Minneapolis, however you want to take that.
In English, in American English. Sorry.
Thanks. But yeah, like he goes to a team that is on the rise, and I think there's just too many mouths to feed, and I think he's on the decline, and I just don't think he's going to be targeting what people think he's going to be coming back. I don't think that he's going to be shades of what he was in 2022, and he's a big-time fade for me. I'm more on the train of taking a Tank Dell and Nico Collins in that range, so Stefon Diggs is a big-time fade for me in 2024.
Yep, his just like Devonte Adams, his career is on the downturn based on target competition in the rooms they're at. They're no longer like, I mean, Devonte Adams is the guy, and the Texans likely think that Stefon Diggs is coming in to be the first read in that Texans offense, but they're going to be passed by some of the younger pass catchers. All right, my spotlight. My number 1 fade. Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah. Is Puka still a top 10 wide receiver? Likely. But his rookie season was so unprecedented. I want to reiterate, we're not in the business of what will happen. We are in the business of what is likely to happen. And him repeating 2023 is not likely to happen. The reason is because nobody's ever done it before. I can't imagine him improving on his season last year. In fact, looking at the numbers, Cooper Kupp missed 5 games last season. In the games that both of them played together, including the playoff game, Nakua's targets went from 12 per game to 8 per game. He lost 1/4 of his total targets. No, that's a third. He lost 1/3 of his total targets with him and Kupp on the field together. That's a big drop, okay? He averaged 1.875 points per target. Huge. 1 point per target that's amazing. and he was almost at 2. 1.875 points per target. I affectionately call him Nakua Cola. Shout out Fallout. But at 1.875 points per target and losing 1/3 of his target share, he's now in the wide receiver 12 range, somewhere around 255 points from close to 300 in PPR leagues. That's granting that Cup plays a full year, so I'm going to throw that caveat out there. But it's still less likely that Puka maintains the pace that he was on to start 2023. He had a 20 target game. He was blowing up. But again, Cooper Kupp was not on the field with him. Coop and Pook, they're going to be just fine. Matthew Stafford's going to have 600 pass attempts. They're going to be good. And I want to reiterate this from the last episode. Fade doesn't mean that they're undraftable. It just means that we can't expect them to repeat what they did before. And so Puka Nacua is my numero uno. That's Spanish.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him to repeat that with, Cooper Kupp there. I'm still very, like you said, he's not going to fall off the cliff, but he's going to have a hard time keeping up with those elite high-tier target share. And we'll see what happens with a healthy Cooper Kupp if he can stay healthy throughout the season. So my biggest fade here, folks, is one of the Indianapolis Colts, and I think their offense is going to be explosive with Anthony Richardson. Don't get me wrong. He returns from that shoulder injury that cost him 13 games last year. But there's going to be some issues here with Michael Pittman, in my opinion. So he set career highs in catches last year, receiving yards. He had a great campaign, and the team invested in him, inking him for 3 years, $70 million. Something that suggests the Colts value Pittman really highly. He's only 26 years old. He's had a stretch of 3 years where he caught almost 300 catches. That's pretty good. So why am I off of Michael Pittman this year?
Why are you off of Michael Pittman this year?
Well, this offense looked considerably different in 2024 for the Colts. It will look, because they have Anthony Richardson. And if you look at the games that Pittman and Anthony Richardson's played together, to me, it looks like Josh Downs is going to be the number one target in that offense in a run-heavy first offense. I don't see a lot of targets going around when you see the addition of Adonai Mitchell to that lineup. He's a bigger, faster, deep threat that can stretch the field and win contested catches. So I think that'll severely hinder Pittman's upside downfield, but also in the red zone, where Mitchell I see becoming one of the favorite targets in that area. And when they need to pass, I just think they're going to look for Adonai Mitchell in the red zone over Michael Pittman. Pittman finished as the wide receiver 13 in 2023, and with all these variables, I just think it's going to be hard for him to finish as a top 20 wide receiver, because I think Anthony Richardson is going to be looking at Josh Downs, who's an incredible separator, in my opinion, on his second look. Pittman's going to be his first look, don't get me wrong. Downs is going to be his second look, but I just don't think it's going to be the volume that we were used to seeing. Gardner Minshew was relying on Michael Pittman quite a bit last year, and when we look at the splits last year with Anthony Richardson, he looked a little bit more towards Josh Downs' way because of that slot role. So I'm fading Mike Pittman this year in 2024.
All right. There you have it, folks.
That's it. That's our fades for 2024 at the wide receiver position. Man.
Hey, you guys. Next episode, we're going to be talking about our running back fades. So you're not going to want to miss that one.
No kidding, because I think there might be some surprises on that one for sure. I think for sure.
Shocking! Wide receiver or running back fades you don't want to miss.
Exactly. Bigz, why don't you tell everybody where we can find all of your, all of our stuff here on the Fantasy Forecast? Tell us all.
Follow me on Twitter at BigBoned FFB. That's BIGBONEDED. F as in Frank. F as in Frank. B as in boy. BigBoned FFB.
FFB. And you can find me at FF Canuck 99 on the X machine, or as bigz calls it, Twitter. And yeah, man, you're going to find us all the time here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. We're bringing the forecast weekly. You're going to find some shorts on our network too, and there's some big stuff coming down the pipeline.
Fantasy Football Advice Network. Come see us in Canton, Ohio in August at the Fantasy Football Expo. I just got my plane ticket to fly into Nashville and then drive up through Kentucky and Ohio. It's going to be a blasty blast. Can't wait to meet everybody, and it's going to be fun. So come say hi. Come meet us.
Yeah, man. All right, buddy. All right, everybody. From everybody here at the Fantasy Forecast, bigz.
We hope you win.
Yeah.